This is Deb. It's 2:22 a.m. 2/4/22. Oh. How come nobody sees how smart I am? I'm flummoxed. As to who to turn to. Turn to Puff Daddy. Diddy is chief on the LinkedIn. Met a new friend. Supported my comment, perhaps get noticed, perhaps get a deal with revolt. That'd be so apropos. All right, so what this about? Gotta be quick. Randomly, YouTube gave me this video of this lovely Indian cardiologist who gets fasting, but not feasting. You got the famine and the feast. He set it up front that outlined the famine. And I mean, that's what, people on the sad need and everything. But he didn't see the feasting aspect of it. And he got the, being in a cave and all the ways, the great things that happen to your brain. I don't think he quite got how ketones make one endogenously high. I'll let him in on that. But yeah, so he got the thing, you crawl into the cave and then you come crawl out when you're fasting and, you need to be able to go hunt and everything, gather. Men are so focused on the hunting, but there's so much more statistically gathering going on, no matter your genitalia. Too much effort to go hunt. And again, you went into all of how, we didn't really need all this extra protein. We'd have been gathering. I think your perception of fruit is a little bit off. Again, when we had none of this metabolic disease stuff going on back in the day. We'd have feasted on the fruit. I mean, it was not being shipped from Chile, all right, year round. So we'd have indulged in fruit when it was available, and that would have been, seasonally, but also we'd have been closer to the equator as an entire species, and so coconut, cacao, again, much more fibrous. Plantain. We were chewing coffee beans for quite some time until we came up on this brew situation. So anyway, one thing you didn't notice, and this is the power of evolutionary logic. And by the way, I lost 150 plus pounds in 15 months after turning 50. I mean, menopause? There's some myths for you. It's again associated with this concept we have of aging, which is all to do with plantation capitalism and biochemistry isn't the only way that humans operate. You talked about the sun and vitamin D. Well, let me tell you something. The sun is a key component of our bioelectricity. And I'm the creator of the philosophical hypothesis of bioelectricity. That's me. That's right. Deb Helfrich. Hashtag redheaded She-Hulk. I have developed the philosophical hypothesis of bioelectricity. It is the foundation of a TOE. A TOE. A theory of everything. From sorting the hard problem of consciousness into an easy pivot outward. Once you know what consciousness is, bioelectricity, everything has to be rethunk. Fasting does a body good. There's all the biochemistry. That's the, downstream effects of the bioelectrical flurry of this performance. Not really fasting. It's 2:22 in the morning, as I had said. I guess I was finished eating around 7. I think that was pretty much what you said to do. I was munching my heart out watching you talk on fasting, because I'm gonna do a 3-day. I tend to do a 23-46 fasting schedule. Get my caffeine in the morning. Usually have a very fatty breakfast. Raw cacao mousse and some nuts. Typically cashews, pecans. And I don't eat for the next 23 hours and 46 minutes. Just I like the symmetry of 23-46. No specificity to it, probably eating my breakfast in about 9 minutes or so. Maybe 14, 15 if I'm leisurely. So 23-46. Now, again, I was I was 200 excess pounds on my body. No metabolic dysphoria, by the way, because I've always fasted. When I was in grade school, I couldn't stand the cafeteria food. Wouldn't eat it. Skip lunch. Didn't like to get up in the morning. Would skip breakfast. Have a food window would be about 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Not optimal circadian rhythm-wise, but that's what society forced my little self into. These days, when I do my 23-46 fasting, I have my breakfast. I get my caffeine going in my morning. And then go through my day, sleep it off, wake up the next morning. Needed something to get out of bed. Boy, my life has been crapola. Living in plantation capitalism and dwelling in cubicle captivity. Had to have a reason to get out the bed. I have done many multiple day fasts. Pas de problème. Filter them in whenever I feel like it. My longest fast was 18 days. November 2020. Done a handful, probably about 5 over my lifetime so far. This little 40s to 50s range. 7-day fasts. There's, I think, an 11-day in there at one point. I mean, it's at this point, I go until my body says, we'd like some food. So the key thing that you've forgotten, I want to talk to you about bioelectricity. I want to figure out how to get some research done. I would love for you to introduce me to a patron. I just like you. I like your presentation style. I like your humor, and I like your thinking so much differently. But there's a lot more differently thinking. That as a cardiologist, the heart is an electrical organ, is it not? And as is the brain. Let's explore that, shall we? Let me point out one more thing using evolutionary logic. This is my proprietary brand. I mean, I've just sort of coalesced it into a phrase, evolutionary logic. This is what philosophers do. I'm the founder. #wellbeing philosophy. Thinking about how we think about being human. And again, I've developed the philosophical hypothesis of bioelectricity, which sorts the hard problem of consciousness into an easy pivot, and also yields a unifying theory of human energy, potential, and well-being. That is body, mind, soul, integrative definition of humanness that is utterly inclusive of all 7.9 billion humans across every nook and cranny of Earth. Here's what you didn't notice about fasting. It would be ludicrous for evolution to have given us this capacity to not eat and demand we drank water all the time. There were none of those plastic jugs being hauled around by all these big, huge trucks and dollies and men. No, there were no water coolers. What good would it have done to give us the physiological capacity to fast for 7 days when we couldn't also go without water? Do me a favor, take a look at those fatty acids, would you please? Carbon, oxygen, hydrogen. What happens when you're burning stored fat? You exhale the carbon, you break those fatty acids up, you exhale the carbon, what you got? Lots of H's and O's. Right on board. Now, you definitely did get, when you switch from using the Krebs cycle to process carbohydrates, that requires a lot of water. The Krebs cycle is cray-cray. The reason the body likes fat metabolism for energy so much is you got it all on board, right? The water as well. We would have definitely, not had the electrolyte problems we have in this world, which is again like our omega-3 and our omega-6 problems is, everyone went to low-fat diets and upped all those carbs and all of the nutritional deficiencies that caused. Similarly, our electrolytes are all screwed up. All this salt raises your blood pressure. Salt is essential, just as cholesterol is, dietary cholesterol. Not the cause of heart attacks. Bioelectrically speaking, it is a nervous system malfunction. You know this. What causes a heart attack is some sort of environmental stressor, like going to work at plantation capitalism, like commuting and having people cut you off and knowing you're going to be late and you're going to hear from your boss. And heart attacks are basically a challenge in coming down out of an intense sympathetic activation. You can't switch back into parasympathetic mode. The switch is gone. Because all we're doing is living a life filled with stress. Alrighty. I shall have got your attention. That was a lot to go over in so many minutes. This has been Deb Halfrich, hashtag Redheaded She-Hulk. I am the founder of hashtag Wellbeing Philosophy, and I want to work with you. I think we will have fun. I think we'll get you out of, all this medicine. We'll get a stage. We'll have some Socratic dialogues. We're going to bring in the chakras. Oh, yes, we are. Harmony.